depression, anxiety. Those are two of the topics that come up a lot amongst people. Especially in the counseling world, we have many clients who come and see you about the fact that they struggle with depression or anxiety. And this is just a little chat about it this morning. A chat about depression, a chat about anxiety, but more specifically about a bit of self-help tips. What must I do if I struggle with depression or if I struggle with anxiety? So first of all, what is depression? People are so easy to self-diagnose themselves and say, I've got depression, or they go to Dr. Google and they type in some of their symptoms, and it's like it comes up with depression, or some people go get manic depression or bipolar, and maybe you don't even have depression. So what is depression? While we feel sad, moody or low from time to time, this is normal. It's normal that you feel sad, moody, low from time to time. It's normal that you feel down. It's normal that you don't sometimes want to go out with friends. It's normal that you sometimes just want to stay in bed. It's normal. But when it gets to be not normal, is when this feeling of moodiness and depression and don't want to mix with people and don't want to go out in the world and just sit in your room, or as we see sometimes in movies, someone will go into the shower and just sit there and rock themselves to sleep in the shower while the shower is running. I've tried that once. It's really, really not a good idea. It really feels bad and it's extremely uncomfortable. So don't go there. But once this continues for weeks, like 7 days, 14 days, then we're starting to talk about there's something wrong, there's depression, or there's some help needed. And I would normally refer someone with that sort of symptoms to go and see their GP. Maybe let the GP do a bit of a diagnosis on you. Maybe prescribe some antidepressants. Antidepressants are not bad. There's so many people that believe like, I'm not going to go on that stuff. It's not habit forming. You can't get addicted to that. But it does make you feel great. As a doctor once told me, can a person really afford not to feel better by just drinking a tablet? And depression meds are so cheap. We're talking about $6.50 on average for a month's supply. So and one thing I must say about antidepressants is that sometimes they don't work immediately for you. Sometimes you do get some symptoms which is like feeling a bit nausea or something like that. Feel free to go back to your GP and say, can we swap them around? It's a bit of a play around with your meds still till you get the one that actually works for you. Sometimes you're lucky and the first one you get work. It normally takes about 8 days and then you start feeling better, and don't risk or don't do what so many other people do, is the moment I feel better, I start drinking my meds. It's actually a process. You need to be it for about at least 6 months to 12 months to make sure that it's in your system and you've overcome your depression, and try and also be very very organized with your medication. Always try and take it on the same time. Don't skip a day, that sort of thing. So what's depression? Depression is when I feel sad, moody. I don't want to mix with people. I just don't want to. I don't feel myself. It lasts for about, let's say, 7 to 14 days and longer. Then it's time to go and see someone. Depression is more just a low mood. It's a serious condition and affects your physical and mental health. It's interesting because depression is normally a mental thing, but it's not really just a mental thing, because it also affects your body. You can get aches and pains, back pain, lower back pain. It will affect your sleeping patterns. It will affect your appetite. So there's a lot of things that depression actually has an influence on. That's why it's quite important that you actually get help when you feel that you are in a low or in a low with this. There's also some internet tests you can do on it. If you go onto Beyond Blue, Beyond Blue is amazing. They have great resources. There's a lot of great articles on the Beyond Blue website, but there's also tests, little self-help sort of tests that you go on and see if maybe you do have depression, and or you tick all the boxes, and then when you tick the boxes, go and see your GP and say, I need help. Symptoms of depression. Some symptoms is, first of all, your behavior changes. Sometimes you can be an outgoing person, a fun-loving person, and suddenly you're like, I don't really want to go anywhere. I don't want to see people. I don't want to. The stuff you used to do that you really enjoyed, something you don't enjoy that anymore. Going out feels like a drag. It feels like, it's such a mission to go out. I don't want to go out. I just want to go home. I just want to stay in my room. I don't even want to mix with the people in my household. I don't want to watch TV. Sometimes I just want to sleep. Dark room, sleep, nothing. Just nothing. So how do you feel? Do you feel perhaps that your behavior has changed in the last 14 days? Another thing is, I'm not going to go anywhere, not going somewhere, not going to go out to the house. If you love going to gym, if you're very active, suddenly you don't want to be active anymore, suddenly you don't want to go there. If you love reading, suddenly you don't want to read, you don't want to watch TV. Your behavior changes. You don't want to go anywhere, you just want to stay home. In most cases, you just want to stay in your room. In most cases, you want to stay in your room with your blinds or your curtains drawn. Not getting things done at work or school, suddenly you procrastinate. You procrastinate huge amounts of you just fall behind with work. You just don't have the energy to do it. You don't have the drive to do it. You just don't have the stamina to do it. It's just all of a sudden you're like, I don't want to do this. You suddenly withdraw from your close friends, from family. You don't want to be close to them. You don't want to be close to anyone. You just want to be on your own. And then you get to this place where you get frustrated because you see them, they don't understand me. They just want to spend time with me. They just want to they keep on inviting me to stuff. I just want to be alone. That's how we withdraw. Another symptom is we're starting to rely on alcohol and sedatives because that makes you feel better. Sedatives also helps you to sleep, to just be calm, be relaxed. And then you have to drink something else to get you up and going for the next day. It's just a whole vicious cycle when you get into this. You're not doing stuff you used to enjoy. Sort of hobbies you had, or activities you did, or fun things you wanted to do, or love to go to the movies, or love to go to theatre, or just go for jogs, or anything that you enjoy. You suddenly stop it because you don't like it anymore, and you can't explain why. It's just, I don't want to do it anymore. You can't concentrate. Your mind's all over the show. One thing that you need to make sure of, that when you feel that you are in a depression cycle or a depressive cycle, is not to make any rational big decisions. Big decisions like change your job, sell your house, divorce your spouse. It's big decisions. Don't do them. Don't make them when you are in these cycles. When you are in a depression cycle, it's because some of your decisions are not really well thought through decisions, because of the fact that you are not in that state where you actually spend time and actually think rational. Your feelings, depressed people or people with depression feel overwhelmed. You feel guilty about anything. Guilty, I don't spend enough time with people, but I don't care, I can't do it, I'm not good enough. You're irritated, you're frustrated, you're lacking confidence. Suddenly you can't speak in front of people, which you used to be able to do. You become very unhappy, indecisive, don't know, can't make decisions. You're disappointed in everyone around you, disappointed in yourself, you're disappointed in life. You feel miserable and sad. You just sometimes look back at your life and says, like, last year this time I was so happy. Last year this time I was I was going forward in life, and suddenly you're like, I'm worthless. I'm sad. Part of depression is you also get these thoughts of I'm a failure. It's all my fault. I'm not a good parent. I'm not a good child. I disappointed my parents. I disappointed my family. I disappointed my spouse. I'm not good enough. Nothing good will ever happen to me. Some people in depression cycle just see the negative. See that they focus on all the negative things that happen, but they're also blinded for all the good things that have happened. They don't see the good around them. They don't see the happy. They don't see the great. They don't see the victories. They just see failure. They feel worthless. They get to a place in their life where they say, life is not worth living. I'm not good enough. The world will be a much better place without me. That sort of feelings starting to creep into people's minds and people's thoughts and people's thought patterns. And the more you get those feelings like, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, your brain actually forms pathways, almost like a ditch forming in your brain with these thoughts. And then sometimes people with depression get to the place where they say people would be much better off without me, or the world will be much better off without me, or it will be just no one will ever miss me. If you ever get thoughts and feelings like that, speak to someone. Speak to a counselor, speak to someone close by. Get help, because life is worth living. Life is awesome. Life is great. Life's a gift. We get different types of depression, and you're welcome to go and research it on the internet. I'm really not going to run through this. This is not really a lecture. It's just sort of, I want to give you some tips. I just want to discuss the topic with you quickly. Some types of depression is major depression, melancholia. I think a lot of us get that one a bit. Psychotic depression, antenatal depression. We've heard a lot of about that. Postnatal depression. Bipolar depression, where a person goes up and down. They'll be very happy and then suddenly they'll drop down to extremely sad. They'll be high and they'll be low. Further on my YouTube channel, I actually did a whole topic, a whole thing on bipolar depression. If you just go through the old videos there, cyclomatic depression, and then the interesting one is seasonal affective disorder, or seasonal depression. And this one we get especially for people that live in cold countries, like people living in Europe. They get seasonal depression, so they tend to get very depressed during winter months, when it's so cold and when it's dark. These are also the months when in countries like that the most suicides happen, during seasonal depression. So we also might get in this country where, although we have great winters, actually we're warm. We can actually go to the beach, and some days we can go to the beach in winter here, but when it's really cold or when it's raining a lot and people get miserable, then they sometimes get seasonal depression. But that's not as serious here as it is in the countries like in Europe, where it goes on for months and months and months. Self-help tips. Some things you can do when you have depression or when you feel depressed is also supplements are great. Vitamin B complex is a winner. Fill up on vitamin B. Go to your pharmacy, look at which vitamin B complex are the highest. Look at the ingredients, which ones are the highest in dosages. Start getting on a good vitamin B complex. Also bananas. In South Africa we always had a banana ad. I don't know in Australia, but in South Africa we had one where it says bananas give you bounce. Bananas is one of the only products that actually has a bit of serotonin in them. So it's always good. Also, when you feel depressed, have a banana. Eat some bananas. Try and get bananas into your normal diet. Tips you can do: mindfulness. Mindfulness is being aware of what's going on around you. Be aware of your breathing. Look at your breathing techniques. Maybe there's heaps of great apps which are free, which have breathing exercises on, which is great to use. The stress tolerance, accept emotions and do some self-soothing. Self-soothing is also speak to yourself and say it's going to be better, it will change. Distraction, put thoughts, feelings aside and come back to them when you're ready to deal with them. So when you get these feelings like I'm not good enough and no one ever loves me, put them aside and try and ignore them for a while. And when you actually can cope with them, you can actually deal with them. And that's why it's good to go to a counselor, to just discuss these things, someone to actually just journey with you, someone to journey alongside you, someone to actually be like on a pilgrimage with you about this thing called depression. Positive affirmations, put positive stuff around you, say positive stuff, say I'm great, I'm more than a conqueror, I am loved, I'm successful. There's such a great song out by Robbie Williams. It says I'm great, I'm powerful, I'm me, I'm powerful. It's a good song. Google it or YouTube it. Sleep, exercise, diet. Look into your sleep patterns, because with depression sometimes you just sleep a lot or you can't sleep at all. Work on that. Also exercise. I know if you are depressed, you don't really want to exercise, you don't really want to go out, you don't really want to do stuff because everything is effort, but get exercising. You see, because exercise releases endorphins in our body, it releases the hormone, and that is also part of helping us feel better, helps us to be happy. Increasing pleasure activities, engage in pleasure activities, do something fun every day. Challenge yourself on a daily basis to do something fun, do something you enjoy, get out of bed, do something. This is just for someone that has depression. But now, if you have a loved one, or if you have a friend that's got it, how do you support them? First thing is, be there. Be present. Be there. Let your friend, let your spouse, let your child, let your parent know that you're there. You're available. Do small gestures, small stuff, like make them a cup of coffee or just do something nice. Never judge or criticize them. If they go around, oh, I'm not good enough, don't get upset and say, you are good enough. Never judge them, never criticize them. And also, at all times, avoid the tough love approach. There are times when tough love approaches work perfectly, but it's not for people with depression and anxiety. You do not do tough love with people that suffer from this. Don't try and minimize their pain. Don't try and tell them, oh, it's nothing, or oh, you're just making it up. Just sit with them. Avoid giving advice, and that's anyway what counselors never do. Counselors never ever give advice. Counselors journey. Counselors is like a pilgrimage on you, with you, that journey. It doesn't matter how many sessions. We don't have a limit of sessions to say you can come and see me 5 times or 10 times. You can come and see me till you feel you're comfortable to do this on your own. Avoid making comparisons. This is the worst thing. I don't know if you've ever experienced it. Like if you go through something and you say like, I've experienced this, and someone else will tell you, oh, but it's not as bad as, when I had this problem. Don't compare. Just listen to this person's story. Just be there. Keep your story away from them. It's not about you, it's about them. Learn as much as you can about depression, read up about it, and again, Beyond Blue is great. They've got great resources on the topic. And be patient. At all times, be patient. If you're with a spouse that's on medication, maybe one thing is you can help them to actually make sure that they drink their medication every day. Make sure that they actually, when they're close to running out, get another script, that sort of thing. Just be there and be present. Exercise is important. Exercise releases endorphins. That's the body's own antidepressant. A healthy diet with vitamin B and bananas. Vitamin B supplements and bananas. Highly recommended. We need that. Those are the things that normally get depleted in our because of depression. Depression is a chemical imbalance in the brain. Depression is where we the serotonin, that is our happy hormone, is actually depleted. Our body can't replace it, our body can't manufacture it, and that's why we need antidepressants and these things to actually help us to add that back. But unfortunately, once a person's normal serotonin is gone, it's gone for good. So that's why we use antidepressants. The next topic, or the next one I want to discuss quickly, is anxiety. Anxiety is a feeling of being stressed and worried. Now, being stressed and worried sometimes is a good feeling, because that releases adrenaline in our body, and that helps. That actually inspire us to higher heights. That's good when you start studying, or when you have to do something that actually motivates you. We all need this sort of thing. We all need a bit of stress. We all need a bit of anxiety in our life. But the problem comes when these feelings don't go away. When you are constantly feeling anxiety, when you're constantly feeling stressed, and the stress is, and you're starting to feel like an elastic band that's just being stretched and stretched and stretched and stretched until it breaks. That is part of it. So feeling anxious and feeling scared is normal. But when this feeling does not go away, like when your body keeps on producing and producing and producing adrenaline, that's like when you go into anxiety. So anxiety is when there's no more stress. The stressor is removed. You have to write an exam. The exam is over, but you still feel this. That you're still scared. That scary anxiety still stays there. That's part of when we start talking about real anxiety issues. Physical signs of anxiety is panic attacks, hot and cold flushes, racing heart, tightening of the chest, quick breathing, restlessness, feeling tense, wound up and edgy. Which is interesting is sometimes when you get an anxiety attack, it's got all the symptoms of a heart attack. You might think that you're getting a heart attack. You have exactly all the symptoms of a heart attack. Panic attacks, you have hot flushes, you have tightening chest, breathing, you can't breathe, sweating. That is almost the same symptoms you get with a heart attack. Psychological is excessive fear, worry. You just worry about everything. There's going to be a catastrophe. The worst thing's going to happen. You've got obsessive thinking, and all you're thinking is just to the worst part. The most terrible things will happen. You are going to die. Your life is in danger. That sort of things. Behaviors avoid situations that make you feel anxious, which can impact on study, work, and social life. So you avoid, especially a person that's got this phobia or a phobia for people or a phobia for crowds. They wouldn't go away. It's called social phobia. They will never go to the shops. Some of them won't even leave their homes, and which cause them not to have a really productive life, because they go nowhere. Their whole life will revolve around just staying in their home. Types of anxiety, and I'm just going to run quickly through it. We've got your general anxiety disorder. Person feels anxious on most days, worry about lots of different things for a period of 6 months or more. It's like 6 months more, it doesn't go away. You're always worried. You're always worried. You're worried about losing a job, or you're worried about this, or you're worried about that, or you're just always worried, even if there's no reason to worry. Then you get the social phobia, which I feel that it's people who has an intense fear of being criticized, embarrassed, humiliated, even in everyday situations such as speaking publicly, eating in public, being assertive at work, making small talk, going into public, going to do shopping. Sometimes it just gets bad, and worse and worse and worse, and it gets to a place where a person actually just retreat or retaliate into their own homes and end up not leaving their home and live their life through the internet or not seeing people. Then you get specific phobias. There are certain things that we are specifically scared of. Some people are scared of heights. Some people are scared of elevators. Some people are scared of all sort of things. I met a lady that's got a phobia for cats. Not just, she really freaks out. She goes into the freak mode, not freeze or flee mode, but she just freaks out when she's close to a cat. People have phobias for injections, for traveling on a plane, traveling in a car. There's all sorts of phobias. Then we get the great one, OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, where people believe that certain things, they have to do things, they have to do rituals, and if they have to, like if you see a person with OCD, they have specific, and one of the things is they're scared of germs, being contaminated. They clean their houses, they clean, everything is actually disinfectant. And if you come and visit them and you leave their house, they disinfect the whole house again because the house got contaminated because you were there. Sometimes they'll go out in public with masks on, with gloves on. It's intense thoughts. They have rituals. If they feel that if they don't do the ritual, things bad will happen. Like if they open a door, they must touch the door handle 7 times or 8 times or 4 times. And I'm going to ask you the question, although I'm not here to diagnose you, but do you have certain rituals? Like checking the door after you've locked it 4 or 5 times to make sure or walk away, come back to just make sure it's locked. What are your rituals? How many times do you wash your hands at once? There's rituals. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, when you go through a traumatic experience, a car accident, a car crash, a hijacking, a terrorist attack, people that go and fight in the military, when they come back and they've been in combat, they struggle with PTSD. And PTSD is something that really needs to be addressed. It really needs to be treated. It really needs to be helped, because it can have an influence on your quality of life. Life is great. Life is to be celebrated. Life is to be lived to the fullest. Life is a gift. We can't live life hidden away because of fear. Let's make the greatest, let's make opportunities. We see the opportunities outside. Enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy life with your family. Don't let fear keep you away from living a full life. There are 2 types of people in this world. There are people that exist, and there are people that live. Do you just exist, or do you live? The choice is yours. If you feel like I just exist, go and speak to a counselor. Go and get help. Go and see your doctor. We are here. Everyone's here to help. To change it from I'm just existing to I'm living. I want to live life. I want to enjoy life. I want to feel I'm alive. I want to open my window in the morning and say, "Good morning, world." Then we have stuff like panic disorder. Panic disorder is, I get panic attacks, I feel dizzy, I've got uncontrollable feelings of anxiety, I struggle to breathe, I've got chest pain, I've got dizziness, I've got excessive perspiration. I feel like I'm going to die. Self-help tips. When you struggle with anxiety, when you get an anxiety attack, do the following: mindfulness. Do grounding exercises. Notice your environment. Just become calm. Notice your environment. Notice your body sensation. Notice your breath. Focus on breathing. And again, we've got great breathing apps available. Focus on breathing. because the better you breathe, the more calmer you get. Progressive muscle relaxation, creating a tension and release effect with all your muscles. Try and relax, tense up and relax. Do some sort of breathing, with your breathing exercises, do some muscle relaxation exercises. If you don't know how to do it, go and see someone to help you. Listen to calming music. Take a walk. But most important, breathe. And be aware of your breathing. Listen to your own breath. Listen to your breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Imagine yourself in your safe place. What's your safe place? For some of us it's going to the beach, or some of us it's walking next to a river. I feel sometimes for me my safe place is going to a gym. That's where I feel safe. That's where I feel that's my happy place. Calming affirmations is like help recognize the moment of panic will pass. Okay, relax and say this will pass. This will pass. This is not so bad. This will pass. And again, exercise is a great way to get rid of those excessive adrenaline that's built up in your body. Exercise helps to get this build up of adrenaline, because we can't always go and bungee jump or go down a roller coaster or something to get rid of this. But exercise is great, and you don't even have to belong to a gym. You can just go for a walk, you can go for a run, you can do some push-ups, there's a lot of stuff you can do to just get rid of this excessive amount of adrenaline, to just burn up the adrenaline so that you can actually get over this panic attack. Stop worry by asking you the following questions. What's the evidence that the thought is true? Is it true? Is it true? What I'm experiencing now, like going out and I hear an ambulance, and it's like, is it true that that ambulance is someone I know who's been in an accident? Is it true? Is there a more positive, realistic way of looking at this situation? What's the probability that what I'm scared of will actually happen? What is the probability? You get this panic attack, this fear, but what is the probability that this will actually happen? If the probability is low, what are some more likely outcomes? It's low. What? Nothing. Is the thought helpful? Does it help you? Does it help you to worry? Is this a thing you can worry about? At the moment, we have this issue with North Korea and America, and is there anything you and I can do about it? No. So what's the use of worrying about it? Just a thought. And then great one is, what would you say to a friend that's got this worry? Thing you're worrying about. If you've got a friend that came to you and they worry about this thing, what's the sort of reaction you'll tell them? What would you tell them? How do you help someone else? If your spouse or your loved one or your friend or your child or your parent got a panic attack, what can you do? Remind them that they're having a panic attack and they are no way obligated to stay where they are. Like if they're in a shop, let's say they're in Woolies and they get a panic attack in Woolies, they don't have to stay there. You can take them outside of the shop. You can take them in the fresh air. You can take them to the car. You can take them out of the situation. Do assure them that there's nothing to be afraid of. Don't worry, I'm with you. There's nothing bad here. It's safe here. Everyone looks fine. Everyone looks happy. There's no danger. Just be calm. And also just speak in a very calm voice. Don't shout at them. Don't speak out of frustration, but speak out of love. Speak out of patience. Also let them know that it's only temporary. panic attacks don't and will never last forever. It's just temporary. It's okay. I'm going to take you outside. We're going to sit there. I'm going to get you maybe a cup of water or a bottle of water. We're just going to sit there and we're going to breathe a bit and take in the fresh air and just relax. Most importantly is when you have someone close to you that's getting a panic attack, is help them to breathe. Help them to focus on their breathing. Breathing is difficult during a panic attack. People can't breathe during a panic attack, and that makes them panic even more because suddenly they don't get breath. And breathing is quite good for us. We actually need air to survive. So they don't breathe, so they're like stressed out that there's something wrong with me. It's you as a friend, or you as a spouse, or you as someone helping someone with a panic attack, is help them breathe. Focus on their breathing. Say, okay, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. Keep it for a moment. Breathe out. Just do a bit of, and you don't need to have real training in this. There are even apps you can use if you really want to do this good. But just sitting next to a person, letting them know you're there, and just trying to breathe. Say, all right, I'm gonna, with me, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Just get them to breathe. Okay. Attempt to have an encouraging conversation with them. Come on, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. See, those people are fine. Just encourage them. Don't judge them. Don't be aggressive. Don't be impatient. Don't let them feel you're rushed. Also stay with them. Stay with them the whole time until they say, I'm better. Depression and anxiety are realities. Depression and anxiety is around us. Every day we get into contact with people that suffer from that. Every day, even some of us suffer from that. Some of us also use antidepressants or medication. It's first of all nothing to be ashamed of. It's first of all nothing to feel there's a stigma towards it. It's nothing to say that there's something wrong with you. In some cases, people feel there's something wrong with their faith if they suffer from depression or anxiety. It's not. It's a chemical imbalance in your brain. That's it. That's it. And there's medication to fix it. There's lifestyle changes to fix it. There's people that's willing to talk to you, to have a chat to you, to just go on this journey with you. A journey of recovery. Because you can have a good life, or you can have a great life. Don't let depression or anxiety dictate your life. Live your life to the fullest. Life is great. Life is awesome. Life's the best. We only have one of it. And let's make the most of it. Let's leave a legacy. Let's leave this world better than we found it. And don't let depression and anxiety rob us from that. Have a great day, and I challenge you, read up on this on anxiety and depression. Go on the Beyond Blue site, do the tests, and also get in contact with a counselor about it. Have an awesome day. Life is awesome.